At the chief executive's fourth State of the Nation address SONA on Monday, Sofronio Vasquez, 3, sang the national anthem before meeting with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. "I am kinasa pa ni President. Kinakabahan ka pa ba?" asks Sabi. "Naku President, kung alam neo lang, muntik na kong hindi makalunok sa kaba." According to Sofronio, he also had a meeting with Liza Araneta Marcos, the First Lady. Singing the national anthem was a beautiful experience, according to Sofronio. "Iba sa kabako rito, yung kabako sa competition. Iba yung challenge kazi lahat ng daw, alam yung kanta." He said, "So, pag nagkamali ka, forever na yon." Malacanang was the source of the inspiration for the a cappella. They chose to do it a cappella because they wanted it to be simpler and more patriotic, even though I had asked for accompaniment, he continued. Sofronio acknowledged that his performance was difficult. "I even had a conversation with Franz Imperial, the undersecretary of the Presidential Communications Office. I'm really thrilled about the rehearsal, so I'm a little more excited than usual." Sofronio, who competed under coach Michael Bublé, won the 26th season of The Voice in the United States. Sofronio was a finalist in the second season of Tawag ng Tanghalan in 2017 before joining The Voice. Then he returned for its all-star version in 2019 and finished third. In a surprising and highly anticipated post-event revelation, Sofronio Vasquez, a well-known figure in Philippine politics, shared an intimate and intriguing chat with President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. shortly after his State of the Nation address SONA. The news spread like wildfire as political analysts, journalists, and even casual observers were eager to learn what transpired during their private exchange. The SONA, delivered every year by the sitting president, is one of the most significant political events in the Philippines. It's a moment when the leader addresses the nation, highlighting achievements, setting forth legislative agendas, and most importantly, providing a glimpse of the administration's plans for the future. With the country's political dynamics ever so complex, the conversations that follow such a monumental speech often carry immense weight. When Sofronio Vasquez, who has been a fixture in the political landscape for decades, took to social media to share a glimpse of his conversation with Marcos, the public's curiosity went into overdrive. The context, SONA and its impact. The State of the Nation address is more than just a speech. It is an annual tradition that defines the political landscape for the coming year. During the SONA, the president addresses the issues of the moment, presents a review of the country's condition, and outlines future policy directions. For Filipinos, it is often a blend of hope, anticipation, and sometimes frustration, as many wait to hear about promised reforms, budgetary allocations, and key decisions on various pressing issues. In this year's SONA, Marcos Jr. spoke about several crucial issues ranging from economic recovery, climate change, infrastructure development, to national security. The delivery was seen by many as a significant moment for his administration, setting the tone for the next phase of his presidency. As expected, political figures, public servants, and commentators quickly weighed in with their reactions, hoping to gauge the implications of the speech on the broader national agenda. However, what happened shortly after the speech took place became just as important as the speech itself. Who is Sofronio Vasquez? Before diving into the details of the shared conversation, it's essential to understand who Sofronio Vasquez is and why his interaction with Marcos drew significant attention. Vasquez has long been involved in political discourse and has been known for his insights into the government's functioning. While not holding a high-ranking office at present, his experience in public service and his long-standing reputation within political circles made his social media share of the conversation all the more intriguing. Vasquez has always been recognized for his straightforward approach to politics. He is respected for his honest assessments and has served as a bridge between various political factions. Having worked closely with many key figures over the years, his ability to engage with leaders like Marcos Jr. and offer candid feedback is seen as a hallmark of his influence. This exchange, therefore, wasn't just a random conversation, it was viewed as a significant political moment that could offer deep insights into the president's post-Sona thoughts and possibly his future strategies. The chat after Sona. In his social media post, Vasquez shared snippets of his chat with President Marcos, which immediately ignited discussions about what the two leaders had spoken about. According to Vasquez, the conversation revolved around several critical issues, including the immediate impact of the Sona, the public's reaction to the speech, and the administration's plans for the upcoming year. One of the key highlights of the exchange was Marcos Jr.'s reflections on the speech itself. According to Vasquez, the president seemed genuinely pleased with the reception of his address, noting that his administration had set out to be transparent, efficient, and responsive to the needs of the Filipino people. Vasquez, on the other hand, expressed his concerns over the immediate challenges the government would face in implementing the proposed policies. The chat also touched on the issue of economic recovery. Both men discussed the ongoing recovery from the pandemic and how the government planned to address issues such as inflation, unemployment, and poverty. It became clear from their conversation that Marcos Jr. is acutely aware of the difficult road ahead, but he remained optimistic about the government's ability to make meaningful progress. In the shared exchange, Vasquez was particularly interested in hearing more about Marcos's views on the government's efforts in handling national security and infrastructure projects. The president, according to Vasquez, assured him that there would be a heightened focus on improving the country's infrastructure with the goal of fostering economic growth, job creation, and resilience against natural disasters. Marcos mentioned that the administration was in the process of fast-tracking several infrastructure projects, including roads, airports, and bridges, which would generate jobs and contribute to the overall growth of the country. One of the more intriguing aspects of their conversation was their discussion on climate change. Marcos Jr. reportedly expressed his commitment to advancing sustainable development while balancing the need for economic growth. Both Vasquez and Marcos acknowledged the difficulty of balancing environmental sustainability with development needs, especially in a nation like the Philippines, which is highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. Marcos Jr. emphasized that addressing climate change was not just an international responsibility but also a local one, particularly in ensuring that vulnerable communities received the support they needed. The public's reaction. As soon as the conversation snippet was shared online, it immediately gained traction. Political observers, journalists, and netizens eagerly analyzed the exchange, drawing conclusions about the tone of the conversation and the underlying political implications. The fact that Vasquez shared this conversation with the public raised a few eyebrows. Some saw it as a sign of increasing transparency and openness within the Marcos administration, while others questioned whether it was an attempt to manage public perception in the wake of the Sona. For many Filipinos, the conversation signaled that Marcos Jr. was not only focused on governance but also engaged in reflective discussions with political figures like Vasquez about the future. This kind of dialogue is essential for understanding the direction of any administration and its responsiveness to both internal and external challenges. What it means for Marcos's administration. Marcos Jr.'s decision to share this conversation, albeit indirectly through Vasquez, may have been a strategic move to demonstrate his administration's accessibility and openness to feedback. In a country where public opinion can drastically shift based on the public's perception of a leader's competence, this kind of exchange can help strengthen a leader's connection with the people. The Sona is a critical moment for any president, but the true impact of the speech can only be measured by the actions that follow it. By sharing this chat with Vasquez, Marcos Jr. is providing a window into his thought process and his willingness to engage in candid conversations about the country's challenges. This moment has the potential to serve as a defining one for Marcos's administration. It is a reminder that while speeches are important, the real work happens behind the scenes through continuous dialogue, reflection, and action.